Hi, everyone. Welcome to UnCut Juels. This is going to be a Friends of Juel Concepts episode, which I'm contemplating renaming Shine a Light because I feel like that's what this is going to be doing, is shining a light on the great work that people are doing that are friends of ours. So before we get our first guest on, I wanted to just remind you next week, as every Tuesday night at 6 p.m., we'll be doing this. Next week, we're going to have Latasha on with us. She is an artist that we've been working with for Sugaroo, and we're really excited to have her on. She's got a really interesting story and great music and lots of sync opportunities that have been coming out lately. So very excited to have that. And today on the show, we're going to have Lauren Monroe, who I absolutely love.
Hi, Kristin.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Lauren Monroe is a singer-songwriter. My gosh, what aren't you? A healer, a teacher, an artivist, an activist, all the beautiful things that make this world go round. And we're so grateful that you took the time out of your schedule to join us today. I know it's crazy.
It's my pleasure.
How are you?
I'm good.
How are you doing?
It gives me a chance to talk to you, which we never get a chance to do. So.
I know. I was looking through our emails, and I think we met in like 2017, something like that, 2018 something. Because it had to have been 2017. It had to have been, because 2018 you sent me what was the demos.
Yeah. Wow. And it went very fast. So
yeah, it feels like it's like that. Yeah. How have you been doing? I know you just did Runway of Dreams last night, the New York Fashion Week.
That was
great.
I
know you just released your EP Big Love, which we love.
We released Big Love EP in July, and last night was Runway of Dreams event for New York Fashion Week. It was such an inspirational, emotional event that really highlighted the lack of love around adaptive clothing for people who have disabilities and who want to empower themselves, not only with fashion and the way they look, but also, it's having a partner, my husband, who and we don't even call it a disability because he's very able-bodied in many ways, and but little things that we take for granted.
Yeah, well, let's say, because not everybody knows, but so Lauren's married to an incredible and a phenomenally inspirational person that I adore, Rick Allen from Def Leppard. He's the drummer from Def Leppard, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, he's missing an arm. He lost his arm in a car accident back when he was in his early 20s. And throughout the time period that I've known him, which is 20 years we've been together, we haven't found any adaptive clothing. We didn't even know the name of the adaptive. But now Tommy Hilfiger, along with other brands like Target and Stride Right and Kohl's, they're creating lines that are easy for people, say with one limb or in a wheelchair, can put on without asking for help. And that's just a huge piece. And they look beautiful. So in promoting that event, and it was very emotional and beautiful for kicking off New York Fashion Week. Yeah. It's fun.
That's great. And so I know that as part of your strategy for Big Love, you're really focused on helping to bring together, all of the great work that other people are doing, and sort of, you're shining a light on their work through Big Love, the release. So are there other organizations you're working with that are going to be leading the cause as you continue to release music?
Yes, well, Rick and I started a foundation called Raven Drum Foundation back in the early 2001. And we branched off and also created a project for veterans to help heal PTSD in an alternative way with complementary therapies, including drumming and mindfulness practice and equine therapy and a list of very effective therapies to help with trauma. So that's the main foundation that we'll be using to partner with other non-for-profits, 501c3s that are around the country, so that we can promote the Big Love message through the song and benefit concerts around the country for 2021. And we're doing our first one at the end of this year, in the end of November. to raise money.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And so when you have that, please send it to us and we'll make sure to post it and tag us and we'll reshare so everybody knows. That's really great. It's such a smart way to add the meaning to the music. You know, your music has so much, I mean, you have so much going on in everything you do with all the work that you do as an advocate for all of these amazing organizations, and obviously with the Raven Drum Foundation, which is just so powerful. But it's really great to see you be able to, you know, interweave that or intertwine that into your work, your music. Because you've been putting out music for how long now?
Gosh, a long time.
Yeah.
Probably 90 or in the 90s.
Yeah.
90s.
Has it always been like this for you? Have you always been about making the music have legs beyond the music?
You know, my music has always been about healing suffering. It seems to be, you know, whether it's a joyous song or an introspective song, it's always been about the journey, trying to lead people into a place where they can experience themselves and others. But I never really had the opportunity. I think it's taken me my whole life and really experiencing my life in a way and seeing myself and with all my hats, you know, going and figuring out how can I bring this all together. And now here I am, and everything's kind of, you know, the stars are aligned and the planets are
coalesced
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. It is really inspiring to see like I said, the music have some meaning. And I know, so when we met, you were sort of working on this stuff. So how long have you been actually writing for Big Love?
Well, the EP is a 5-song EP, and the bigger picture is a full album, and I've been working on that. You know, some of the songs I've had, you know, in my archives waiting just in demo form since, you know, 1998. I had
wow. Okay.
song Joshua on 1998, the song Blue. They're all been, you know, songs
there.
And I remember when I first went, and I would love to tell the story about meeting Jim, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met my, you know, lifetime long friendship producer. Jim.
Yeah.
And,
he's amazing.
Yeah, so this been, you know, this first the album is a collection of songs that I've written over the past, you know, I don't know how many years, 10, 15 years, 20 years. Along with some new songs that I wrote while we were recording, that I was so inspired that I, you know, while I'm in the studio, I wrote a song and Jim heard it and he's like, let's record that. And it made it, you know, made it on the album. So it's been interesting. It's been very spontaneous as well as kind of strategized throughout my life.
Yeah.
It's an interesting.
Well, okay. So before we get there, let's take a step back. So where are you from originally? You're from Queens, right? Is it New York, Queens area?
I'm an Italian Queens girl. I grew up in Queens, and that's where my foundation was, you know, set. Catholic Italian family, very traditional. Although my parents were really outside the box in many ways, they were kind of, you know, very conventional, but at the same time they were kind of hippies, and they explored meditation and different kinds of food and gatherings with artists that come over and would sing songs about God, and they were very much involved in Catholicism, but in a 70s kind of way. And I was exposed to all that, and it really made an impact on me.
That's wonderful. That's great. That's very progressive for the New York Queens area.
Yeah.
I love that. And so how did take us through, like, at what point did you get to Colorado, and when did music become your focus?
Well, I started very young. I got gifted a guitar when I was 5 and started writing songs. And that was my way. It was just very natural. You know, I expressed myself. So I, you know, started that process early on. And, you know, fast forward, I went to a lot of college. I love school. So I got my bachelor's degree and my graduate degree, and studied dance and psychology and choreography, and kind of combined my own interests into a way of communicating healing through the arts. During that time, when I was around 12, I really got shut down with my singing. I felt, you know, at that age, you get self-conscious, and a lot of things shut down for me then. And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I had an experience that woke up my voice. And I felt the power of that and how it was a healing force. And I started writing more music and creating bands in San Francisco. And then when I went to Colorado, I went there. I left San Francisco and went to Colorado to continue my education in massage therapy. And I went to school there, and then I had several bands while I was there too, and toured around Colorado, Wyoming, all the kind of Western states, and played, bars and clubs. It was fun.
That's right. I missed the San Francisco thing because I went right to the Colorado. I didn't realize that you had been in San Francisco before, because I know you're in the Big Sur area. You said now.
Yeah. I was
so you're from the
Bay Area first, and then I went to Colorado from there. I bounced around the country quite a bit.
That's great. Good for you.
And so San Francisco was great. I mean, I loved living there, and I also experienced, doing a lot of street performing there and songwriting with a trio that I had there, and we played a lot in the park and on the street and in the Haight. And
how fun!
Shows, and then we did a cross country trip where we bussed the whole way across the country and just had our guitar cases out and played on the street, and I was a vagabond for quite a few years before I settled.
Those are the days. Yeah. Can you imagine now? Times they are changed. That's great. I'm glad you're able to do that. So at what point did you, so I know, I think I remember the love story you have with Rick starting in Colorado. Am I crazy?
No, I did meet him in Colorado through a mutual friend.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. As a healer, he needed some work, and he never really received the kind of work that I do. And I had a friend that was friends with him who's also in the healing arts, and he said, I really think Rick could use you right now. And, so we met in a professional way, as myself being a therapist and he was a client, and we developed such a strong friendship around that. And I served as a teacher for him for many months as we developed our friendship, and then we ended up saying, you really can't be my client anymore. Like this is going to work out. So
you're like, this is not good. You need it. There's other good that can come of this.
Yeah.
Like Josie. That's amazing. Sorry. Okay. And I mean, obviously, you guys have one of the most amazing relationships I've ever seen. I'm just I love when it works really well. And I feel like this is one of those times when you and actually Shelly Piken and Ruby and her husband, it's just amazing to see the creativity that goes between all of you and what it's about. It's really, that's inspiring. So hats off to you, because I know how difficult it can be. It can be hard, especially with him being on the road a lot. But I know your music. So over the years, you've been called like the Shania meets Sheryl Crow kind of sound. Would you say that that's still accurate today, or has your sound evolved from there?
It's really hard for me to pinpoint what kind of sound I have, because I'm just doing me. And it's great to hear, people pick out different voices. I've been called things from like Cher to, Joni Mitchell. I don't hear myself, but I think people filter on an energy level what resonates with their heart, and I'm a heart-based singer. So people hear me, I always just take it as a compliment who they think I sound like, because they're hearing me with their heart.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's great. I mean, I think when you listen to this EP, which you should listen to this EP, it's so beautiful. It's inspiring. There's a lot to it. It's only 5 songs, and it's just so much to it. And each one kind of has like a little vignette, I suppose, in my brain. I hear different things and I can hear stories. But yeah, you should listen to this. But when you hear it, it just seems like you. It's just so you and your stories, which I love. It's great. And so, okay, so now let's talk a little bit about how we did this. So you sent me the demos, and
let's talk about how you met me.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's do. Yeah. You tell the story. This is your time.
In LA, when I played, and one of your artists, Hamish Anderson, played the same show, and we met, and you saw my set.
Yeah. So great.
And then
So
he came
beautiful.
to me and was
And
like,
I was like, I think
you
I
know,
might. I was like,
why?
right. I was like, what do you do? What are you planning on doing? And like and then we were like talking, you were like, well, I'm looking for a producer. And I was like, I think we got the guy for you. You just got to send him some stuff. And then it was, Jim Scott. So we have a very tight relationship with Jim because of Hamish, thankfully. He's been very instrumental in getting that sound dialed in for 4 years. So we brought the demos over and he was like, I like this. And then we had our meeting with him, which was so much fun, where you guys drove down and we had a little dinner. That was fun. That was really cute. And then I think the rest is history. You guys have just been in the studio. I think you took him over. It's been great.
Well, I think I'm a chronic artist in his world. There's so much we have to do. There's still so much that we're looking forward to creating together and exploring. I like to evolve in production, and with someone like Jim, who's very innovative and he's really open to trying new things, and so am I. And when you meet someone who sees you clearly and loves you as a person and an artist, it's easy to just be open and just go and walk on the edge with things that you may not trust to do with another person. So
or in yourself.
Hmm?
Or even in yourself, like things that you didn't even know you could do. Like, I feel like he's really great about, like, he's like a whisperer. He's like, try it that way. Try it this way. Try it this way.
Yeah. And one more thing he highlighted for me, because I've been a drummer because I was a dancer for a long time. And that was my passion for many years. And while I was dancing with an Afro-Brazilian dance company, one of the things we had to do was learn how to play the percussion. And we played with like 10 master drummers while we danced, and I learned how to play on a conga. And then I transitioned to a djembe and started playing with my husband Rick in all of these events that we do, these drumming events. So I've been a drummer for years and years, but I'm a closet drummer. I'm a ceremonial drummer for healing. But I've never really performed drumming. But in the studio, Jim was always like, "You can do that. Here, you do that. You play this bongo part. You play the djembe part. Play that. And I was like, okay, I've never done that. And he just really set this foundation for me to go, yeah, I am a drummer. I'm gonna bring this to the table. And now, fast forward, I'm playing these songs live, and I'm playing tom-toms, and I'm playing djembe and percussion, and it's become really embraced that part of me. And that's because of Jim and his, encouragement. So thank you, Jim.
That's amazing. Good for you. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you don't know what you're capable of until someone from the outside just sees you and is like, try this, just try it, and like it takes the barriers away. It's really good. I'm glad you found each other. I know he's just been, like, he tells me how things are going from time to time. Obviously, he's just been so loving. Like when you do a lot of the sort of therapy world, they say like loving kindness. And I feel like it's like embodied between the two of you now. This, hopefully I'm in there too, it's like, I think he gives it to Hamish as well, but it's very much like, let's, nurture this. This is a beautiful thing. It's been really great to see. And from what I remember, you have a crazy cast of characters on this EP. I know you got some guys from the Heartbreakers. Is it Ben Montench and Steve Ferroni on drums, Ben on the keys, right?
Yeah, Ben. Steve was in the whole, pretty much the whole record, the majority of the record. Rick did some drums and percussion. You have Kenny Eckhoff on it. His character, I loved playing with him. And Montench came for a few songs that record, and it was great to be in the presence of these legendary people. We watched Tell if anybody knows, they're legendary guitar players. Waddy's just incredible. He's a wonderful personality, and he came storming in on a day and just kind of shredded all over it. And I was just, we stand back in awe of these people, and I'm very grateful. It was, Waddy I met at the Hall of Fame induction when Def Leppard was adopted into Hall of Fame. And Waddy
was amazing.
Stevie Nicks, and it was an after party, so we all went, and I I recognized Waddy, and I recognized, I thought I went to, I grew up in Queens, and I thought he was like, did I go to school with you? What? I know you. So I talked to him. Yeah, and it turns out he's friends with all the Steve Roney and Ben and Montana.
Oh.
So he was like, all my friends are on the record. I need to be on it too.
I must be on too. Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
That's
like,
really great. Good
call me. I know Jim. Have him call me. I was like, okay.
Have him call me.
There he was, like 2 weeks later. He was in the studio. And so I feel
great.
Very blessed, and had these experiences.
Yeah, and so since you released it, I know you released a video too for Big Love, for the actual title track, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that, because was that done in COVID, during the COVID times?
Yeah. Well, just to unpack it a little bit, in 2016 I wrote the song. It was during the presidential campaign at the time, and it was very divisive. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of hostility, as it continues now. And
so like today, yeah.
Yeah, today. But that was the beginning of it. And the opioid crisis was really in the forefront. So with the wildfires in Australia, and it was very, I had a very emotional response. And so the song Big Love, when it came through, all these images of unrest and addiction and separateness came to my mind, with the polar opposite of love, going, this is what we need right now to heal all of this. And so the song was born very quickly with a friend and songwriter, a friend of mine that we wrote together. His name is Mark Hayes. And we wrote it very quickly. The lyrics were there, the imagery was there. And so when it came time to create the video, I remember Rick did some narratives on this amazing film called Unity. And if you haven't seen it, it's incredible. And I think you have to buy it to see it right now. It's not on Netflix yet. But Sean Munson is an activist for animal rights, and he created the movie Earthlings as well as Unity. And even if you watch the trailer for Unity movie, it hits you right in the heart. So when I wrote the song, I knew I wanted the video to be very similar with those images that create such impact. So I reached out to him. I was really afraid, to reach out to someone like him. But, I got the strength one day and just close my eyes and then press send and go, oh my God, I hope he answers. And he did. And we created this wonderful film, this video together. And it was supposed to be a message video, just talking about love and the lack of love and the unrest and the healing that needs to happen. And I sent it to my team. We finished it, and they said, you need to be in it, So
wow.
Okay. So last minute, we jumped in the car and I went to Jim's studio, and we shot me playing and singing and just kind of bringing energy to the piece.
I think we're gonna play. We should be playing the video, if we can.
Sure.
Love to put it up and just have it playing a little bit so we can see what you were talking about. So here's the Big Love video. Look at that. I know where that is.
A lot of the B-roll at Jim's studio, and we gathered footage of the world. And it was before, this is such an interesting kind of serendipitous thing, that it was before all the riots started happening in LA and around the world, and before the Black Lives Matter movement began to really come full force because of the things going on in the world in May. So we already had this footage in place before all that started happening, and we're watching the video and watching the news going, we have to release this right now because this is before our eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
So the song and the project was very prophetic in that way. And the images here we added, the images of mask wearing, because that's what's happening, and we're still in this place. And then this video and the song really represents our age. It's 2020 and what we need to heal.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this is so beautiful. Look at that. So well done.
Thank you.
I love, and it's just, there's such a powerful message to this. So, and I've been watching all of your, the press that you've gotten. It's just been so phenomenal. And obviously I know a lot of this, people are, want to talk with Rick about, and the Raven Drum Foundation and the art and the activism and all of that. But I feel like this is such an important message that Big Love actually goes everywhere from all of that. So it's really very well connected, like together, you know, with like I said, this meaning behind all of it. It feels like the press is getting it.
Yeah, I think people are starting to see the other side of the crisis that we're in, and that we have to look at, you know, where we are as human beings and how we look inside ourselves to raise each other up at this time, because no one's going to do that for us. And I think artists and activists and healers are all a very important part of the evolution of our humanity right now. And the press is starting to look at that. It's just, you know, unfortunately, our culture is very much fascinated with the gloom and doom and the trauma.
Totally.
And it's hard to look away from that. But there's so much pain right now that we have to really raise our voices and show how we're coming together to heal.
Yeah, I feel like it's so spot on. I feel like maybe the last 4 or 5 months, I feel like more than ever, people are looking for the positive. You know, I've seen Instagram pages come up where it's just to, in order to almost like negate all the negative, you know, that's coming out. It's like a balancing act. Like you have to look at one thing positive when you look at something so bizarrely confusing that your whole world could be, you know, taken over by. So it's really nice to see, you know, the message actually be brought into like the CNN cycle. Like I saw that and I was like, that makes me so happy, because it's not just about, you know, that you made a new album. It's about the content of the album and then what it means and how it reflects on, you know, the world around you.
Yeah, and it starts a conversation. It starts a conversation around, you know, how much better we can do. And there's such good things happening in the world too. So I want this to be, you know, an activating force to bring all of these good charities, all these good businesses, these people who care, voices together to be able to spread the message of love, and however we can do that together.
Yeah. So how can people help?
Well, we have a Big Love group on Facebook that we're starting to organize people around the country to help advocate the message and start accumulating point people that are going to help us find venues and find not-for-profits that are in alignment with the message, so that we can create Big Love benefit concerts to support communities around the country. So that's one way you can help. Another way is just passing along the song and the music and doing what everybody else does in social media, sharing and liking and commenting, so that we know you're there and that we can include you in our evolution of creating a movement around music.
Nice. And what does it mean to do a Big Love concert?
What does it mean to do a Big Love? Well, it means engaging with an audience who wants to receive healing, and also to create a venue and a place where we can raise money for charities and give people an experience to connect with other like-minded people.
And do you actually do healings at all of these concerts? And will you do healing at all these concerts, or will there be like people who do it and you train them?
Well, the healing comes out of the music and the storytelling, and through the ways that I disseminate energy in ceremony. Yeah, so it
has to be you.
So again?
So it has to be you.
Well, I don't think I mean, I have taught people how to do certain things, but in this arena, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's great. I love that. So, okay, so what was I know you've been releasing music for a long time, but like, what's been like the biggest surprise, or what's been the biggest learning, I guess, for you so far as you've in this release cycle?
I think the biggest learning for me in my life is also reflected in this journey, and it's continually stepping back and getting out of the way so that the universe can work through me. and understanding that there's a timing and all of that. And I have to do the work, which I do. I'm very hard worker.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to doing that. But also there's a time I also have to shut down and go, I did what I did and I'm done with my work. And now I have to surrender it and let it move and take its course and trust that. And I've been really good in this process.
It's great.
To be able to go, this is the work, and I have this faith that it will evolve into something meaningful. However it works out, that my heart will be fed and I'll be connected to really beautiful people and have healing. And
That's great.
That's what it's about.
I love that. That's great. I mean, it's a really hard thing to do, like to be a conduit or a vessel for something greater, and to know that. I commend you. It's beautiful.
Well, you can do it for other people so easily. It's harder to do it for yourself. When you want a goal and you're like, come on, let's come on already.
I know. Well, that's also the New Yorker in you too. I had that same problem. It's not easy, when you're somewhat type A.
Yes.
Letting it go. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about. We're almost out of time. Oh my gosh, we are. Okay, so we got through a lot so far. I think there's just a couple things. So I know you have your podcast coming up on the 17th that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it's a Modern Drummer podcast, which is with Rick Allen and myself. We're going to be interviewed by Modern Drummer, going to ask some questions about the record and about drumming and some of the drummers that I worked with on the project. And I was really just honored to be even included in a magazine and a platform of drumming. So it'll be exciting for me. Billy Almendola. He's a wonderful percussionist person and interviewer, and so that'll be fun for people to watch. Go to moderndrummer.com, and the podcast will be available to see that.
Okay, so that's up on the 17th on this Thursday, and then you also are releasing Big Love as a dance track, which is based on this show last night that you did with the New York Fashion Week, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we created a dance mix with DJ Robbie drums, and that was it was used in the fashion show. Some of the models walked to it, and we're releasing it, on all digital platforms October 2nd. It's really fun. It's great.
Fantastic. And so when we first met, the demos that I heard, there were many of them. I heard other songs, all sorts of things, but you only released 5. So I presume know that there's an album coming. Yeah.
In November, we'll be releasing a full album. I think, I'm not sure what the final cut was, 11 songs, I think, maybe 12. And then we have a whole other album that's waiting to be released the following year into 2021. So there's a lot of content, a lot of music, there's a lot of messaging to do. And I'm really grateful to share it all with everybody.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So do we have a date for the album then?
November 20th.
November 20th. Oh, look, we got it out. Okay, so that means that everybody, so when will you have your pre-save going up?
I'm not sure yet, but probably within a couple of weeks prior.
Okay, so great. So in the meantime, anybody who's watching, thank you for watching, but also go and listen to her music, Laura Monroe. She's on all of the platforms. And then if you get a chance to follow her or go to her website and sign up for newsletters and things like that so you can get notified when things go live. She's incredible live. I know you do a lot of live performances, so hopefully, let us know when you do something too so we can share it with everybody. But we're really absolutely love what you're up to. It's just so inspiring to watch. And the timing is impeccable. It's like teed up. The whole world is ready for this message. So I was really happy for you.
I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Okay, before we go, we have one last question. Well, 2 actually. Okay. If someone had to navigate your catalog, what's the one song they should be listening to, to make sure that they don't miss it? Mm-hmm. On any of your catalog, just your whole catalog.
I think Big Love is it really encompasses a lot of the energy that I want to message. So that would be the song right now.
Okay, that makes sense. As a sound that aligns. And then the last question we ask everybody, if is there a song that you're I wish I'd written that?
I wish I wrote the song Hallelujah that Leonard Cohen wrote.
Oh, good choice. It's an excellent choice. Everybody's got some gem.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I really
Excellent.
do
Excellent.
enjoy that. I heard it.
Do you ever do that one live?
Why didn't I write that?
Yeah. Have you done it live?
No, I've never done it. I've never done it live. There's a couple of covers that I'm working on right now. I want to record.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if I could do it as good as Jeff Buckley, man.
No, but you just have to do it you. You have to do it through your lens.
That is true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, no, Jeff is, he did it his way, and Leonard did it. It's about you, but I would love to hear that version. Even if you just do it for a demo, send it my way. That song makes me cry so much. It just makes me cry. Yeah, mine too, Sarah. I love that song. I think I saw Leonard Cohen do it at Coachella, and I was like, this is so powerful and crazy to think you see him, at Coachella, which, can't wait for those things to come back again. Anyway, okay, so we're over our allotted time, but thank you all for staying with us. And don't forget, please, please, please go and hang out with Lauren, hang out with her music, watch her videos, check her out. I mean, everything that she does is just so powerful. And I honestly would, I'd like to be in your presence more to be able to feel a sense of healing, because I think that's, you and Ruby do a really great job with those things. We should get you guys connected at some point. That would be amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Is there anything that we missed talking about that you want to make sure we tell everybody?
I don't think so. Just come visit me on social media. I'd love to meet you, everybody. And thank you.
Absolutely. Yay. All right, good. Well, thank you again to Laura Monroe for coming. There's her handle. Please give her some love. Show whatever you can. And then we'll be putting this up on YouTube real soon. So hopefully we'll get some new faces coming in. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And please tell Rick we said hello.
I will. My pleasure.
Okay. We'll talk soon. Thank you. And next week we'll see you all. Have fun. Stay safe. Wear your masks.